the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2022. Let's hope this year brings back sanity to everyone. I hope everyone had a magnificent, long, amazing, restful weekend. I hope you brought in the new year the same way you plan to enjoy it this year. Positivity, surrounded by your loved ones and so forth. We've done a little bit of refreshing. So a ton of refreshing going on behind me from the background wise. We're still not done with everything. So in the next few days, you'll see a lot more going on here on the set. Supply chain issues, part of the game. So good morning to everyone. I hope you're ready for today's show because we've got a busy one, including Y2K happening 22 years later, China, and yes, Log4J. We'll talk about that. T-Mobile with a confirmation. Today marks 2 years since Qasem Soleimani was taken off the battlefield, and Iran responded today with a cyber attack. We'll also talk about that as well. And a good friend of the show with an awesome little hack that we'll also bring to the show today. So let's get to some of your comments. Happy New Year, Mr. McQuiggan. Thank you for being here. Eddie, good morning to you. Happy New Year. Anthony, good morning and Happy New Year. Finley, same to you. Happy New Year. Linus, Happy New Year. John, good morning. Here's to a better year. Yes, upward and onward. Yes, Peter, indeed. Jody, good morning from chilly Fort Worth. It is chilly. And good morning and Happy New Year to Scott. First day of the year, Saturday. Beautiful weather. Beautiful. Summer. Last night, winter. We'll get to that. But before we do, we cannot start off our year without a good cup of coffee, especially on the first Monday for the new year. I've got a celebratory cup of coffee. In fact, this is a very, very special cup of coffee because the coffee itself is very special. It is Italian coffee. It is a very, very unique blend that I was able to get from someone who understood that I'm a espresso aficionado. It's magnificent. It's foamy. It's beautiful. It's at the right temperature. Coffee cup cheers. Let's get to the show. Yeah, I need more of these. I absolutely need more of these. Good morning to Mr. Bob Henderson for being here as well. The best to everyone. Let's talk about Y2K22. If you're an on-prem Microsoft Exchange server, customer, user, whatever, you may have had a little issue in date validation around January 1st, 12:01 a.m. Just saying. The problem related to the date check failure with the change of the new year, and it's not a failure of the anti-virus engine itself, according to the company in the blog post. The issue is not anything with malware, scanning, or malware engine. It's not even security related. It's simply an error. And the issue began to gain attention, causing servers to no longer deliver email messages by throwing the following error message: FIP-FS Microsoft Scan Engine failed to load, and they can't convert. Microsoft noted that the issue was caused due to the date issue in the signature file used by the malware scanning engine. To mitigate the Y2K22 problem, Microsoft is recommending customers to download a PowerShell-based scan engine reset script called Reset Scan Engine version.ps1 that can be executed on each Exchange mailbox server used for downloading anti-malware updates. So, sure, a lot of people did that over the weekend, but if you haven't, make sure you get that done today. We'll move on to the gift that's just going to keep on giving. Log4J, Log4Shell, and guess what? China's right there. So a China-linked cyber espionage group, Aquatic Panda, was recently observed exploiting the Log4Shell vulnerability to compromise a large academic institution, according to CrowdStrike. As part of the recent campaign to Overwatch, security researchers observed Aquatic Panda leveraging a modified version of the Log4j exploits for initial access and then performing various post-exploitation operations, including reconnaissance and credential harvesting. In their attempt to compromise the unnamed academic institution, the attackers targeted a VMware Horizon instance that employed the vulnerable Log4j library. The exploit used in this attack was initially published on GitHub on December 13th itself. The attackers performed connectivity checks through DNS lookups for a domain running a VMware Horizon instance under the Apache Tomcat service. Then they executed multiple Linux commands on a Windows host on which the Apache Tomcat service was running, including some aimed at deploying attacker tools hosted on remote infrastructure. They then performed reconnaissance, seeking to better understand privilege levels and domain details. They also attempted to stop a third-party endpoint detection and response solution. After deploying additional scripts, they attempted to execute a PowerShell command to retrieve malware and 3 VPS files believed to constitute a reverse shell. The target organization was alerted of the suspicious activity immediately after detection and was able to implement their incident response protocol, patch the vulnerable software, and prevent further malicious activities. Just showing you, you're never exempt when it comes to this kind of stuff. Definitely something to keep your eye on if you're in academics. Let's move on to T-Mobile. So T-Mobile confirms that the SIM swapping attacks led to the breach. It's been a rough year for the folks over at T-Mobile. They've had multiple data breaches. This one was caused in part by a SIM swapping attack, according to a statement from the company. In a blog tracking T-Mobile, which obtained internal reports showing that some data was leaked from a subset of customers, some individuals had their customer proprietary network information leaked, which includes information about a customer's plan, number of lines, phone numbers, the billing account, and more. Others had their SIMs swapped. Some were victim of both of those together. When pressed for comment by ZDNet, T-Mobile refused to go into detail about the attack and would not say how many customers were affected in the incident. Big mistake for T-Mobile here. Big mistake. Come out, have a conversation, let people know what's going on, let them know what you're doing to mitigate it, get confidence. This whole hush thing, let it die, is so old and it's so bad for the community. This does not look good. It does not build confidence for someone who's a T-Mobile customer to stay a T-Mobile customer. The company told CNET and the Bleeping Computer that it sent notices to a small number of customers who were dealing with the SIM swapping attacks, calling it a common industry-wide occurrence. Yeah, we're going to have a conversation with T-Mobile about that. Hey, don't look here, guys. This happens all the time. Why are you picking on us? Well done, and just shows you the lack of maturity and why they were victims so many times last year. Let's hope maturity is on the agenda of 2022 for the folks over at T-Mobile. So it's been 2 years. 2 years since Israeli media, since the U.S. At the time took down Qasem Soleimani in a drone strike in Iraq, just outside of Baghdad International. This morning, 2 major Israeli media outlets were hacked with a threatening message that appeared linked to the killing of the top Iranian general 2 years ago. The English language Jerusalem Post and a Twitter account for one of Israel's really least read newspapers, Ma'ariv, were taken over with a picture of a fist firing a shell out of a ring with a red stone on a finger towards an exploded dome. For those who don't know, Qasem Soleimani, who was a terrorist, wore a ring with a red stone. In fact, that's how the local forces in Iraq identified his body and the successful mission at the time. So 2 years to that day, they're still threatening revenge, and they attacked 2 Israeli organizations. The Jerusalem Post said that the hack lasted a few hours. Ma'ariv's Twitter account had deleted the foreign tweet and has not posted anything since the attack. So, we take out your general and you attack Israeli media organization. Seems fair, I guess. I don't know. To each his own. Finally, our final story as we wrap up today's show. Don't copy and paste commands from web pages. You could get hacked. Good friend of the show, Gabriel Freelander, who's the founder of Wiser, demonstrated an obvious yet surprising hack that makes you cautious when you're copying and pasting commands from web pages. It's unusual for novice and skilled developers alike to copy commonly used commands from a web page and paste them onto their applications, a Windows command prompt, or a Linux terminal. Hey, we all do it. But Freelander warns a web page could be covertly replacing the contents of what goes on your clipboard, and what actually ends up being copied to your clipboard would be vastly different from what you had intended to copy. Worse, though, without the necessary due diligence, the developer may only realize their mistake after pasting the text, at which point it could be too late. He does do a demonstration on this. He did put it on LinkedIn as well. So what's the cost for this? Guess what? The magic is in JavaScript code hidden behind a POC HTML page set up by Freelander. As soon as you copy the sudo apt update text contained in the HTML element, the code snippet shows below runs. What happens after it is a JavaScript event listener capturing the copy event and replacing the clipboard data with Freelander's malicious test code. Even listeners have a variety of legitimate use cases in JavaScript, but this is just one example of how they could be misused. So something very, very cool. Go check it out. Definitely worth looking at and studying up, which is really, really significant. Folks, that's it for our show today. By the way, last week put out the new CISO Talk episode, my keynote address about the modern CISO. Go check it out. A new CyberHub Podcast website has launched. You can go and check it out. We're going to be doing a lot of exclusive content later this year, including a special members area there as well, where I'll be doing exclusive content only available on the website. So go check out the new CyberHub Podcast website. You can get everything, including, if you go to our blog, when we took out Soleimani 2 years ago, I did a few blog posts that now resonate all that much more. You can go and check out the blog on what I said would happen then and see how accurate or inaccurate I was. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you guys have a magnificent day. I know we're all getting back to regular scheduled programming, very, very busy, but if there's anything you need help with, please DM us. Check out our new website. You can contact us there as well. And we'll be back with a lot more tomorrow right here at 0900 Hours live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And very soon we'll be on Getter and Rumble as well. So folks, go check it out. Until then, have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, start 2022 by staying cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.